Well, it happened that in 2018, 27, it actually started by December 2017. Dr. Doyin Okupe was invited by the EFCC to answer some questions bordering on what they call intelligence report they gathered from the office of the former National Security Advisor. That's Colonel Sabo Dasuki, retired. And he was granted bail. I was involved from day one. And by January 14, 2018, he was formally charged for a 59-count charge before Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Honorable Justice Ijoma Ojukwu. The trial, started. All of us were there. There are 3 sets of chambers. The chambers of what's this our senior advocate his name now? The chambers of Gazama was involved. My chamber, Babale and Co. was involved, and the chambers of Ayorinde and Associate, a senior advocate of Nigeria, was also involved. Since there are 3 defendants that were charged, Dr. Doyin Okupe, then Value Trust Investment Limited, and Abraham Telecoms Limited were the 3 sets of defendants. While Gazama took the brief of Dr. Okupe, I took that of Value Trust and Ayorinde and Co., led by Ibe Bulam, took the brief of Abraham's Communication. We had the whole hog of a trial. Witnesses were called from both sides. And at the end of the day, the court came to judgment yesterday. And in the course of the delivering a judgment on the 59-count charge, he absolved Dr. Doyin Okupe of count 1 to 33 of the 59-count charge. Count 1 to 33 borders on embezzlement of fund, laundering of fund, misappropriation or misapplication, and collection of money from the office of NSA, knowing the source to be illegal, and collecting money without spending the money in a way that, for the project for which he collected the money. The court came to a conclusion due to the plethora of evidence before the court that Doyin Okupe was not guilty of all the charges that borders on corruption, that borders on collecting money from illegal armed deal, because all the monies were money paid before the armed deals in 2014. All the monies, none of them was paid in 2014. They were between 2011 and 2014, early 2014, before the issue of the arms deal. So, and as at the time the government of Goodluck Jonathan came to an end, the government of Buhari took over, and they started probing the whole thing. I think where the man got himself into trouble was when he gave evidence for Olisametu before Justice Abang. That was where I think he got himself into trouble, because a lot of them went away scot-free. And the court came to a conclusion that he is guilty of charge 34 to 59, which charges border on collection of money above 5 million naira, which is the legally permissible threshold for an individual, and 10 million for a corporate organization. Even though the records submitted in the court and all the arguments shows that Dr. Doyin Okupe did not collect money as an individual, but he collected money on behalf of Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President. But the court came to the conclusion, did not believe us. He decided to jettison all those our arguments and came to the conclusion that Doyin Okupe was found guilty of those offences, which are strict liability offences. The meaning in law is that motive is immaterial and there is no defense. When you are caught to have committed what the law calls strict liability offense. The motive, in law, for you to be punished, there must be a concurrence of what they call actus reus and mens rea for a crime to be committed. It means, in English, physical act of the crime, of committing the crime, and the intention to commit it. But in a strict liability offense, there is no such. The moment you are caught committing that offense, there is no defense. Motive of you doing that thing is immaterial. That was what hooked Dr. Doyin Okupe. And the court was sympathetic because the court realized that all the monies he was alleged to have collected illegally were not illegal. In fact, he brought documents to show how he expended the money, how he laundered the image of the president, the then president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. But unfortunately, he was caught within the web of a law in which there's no escape route. That is collecting money above threshold. All of us as Nigerians must learn lesson from what happened to Dr. Doyin Okupe. I want to say it without missing word, that a lot of big men in Nigeria are collecting money above the threshold, but none of them has been brought to book under that law in the way Dr. Doyin Okupe was brought to book. So he has set a pace under our Nigerian legal system and jurisprudence that it is now a criminal act punishable with imprisonment for you to collect money above permissible threshold in law. And the precedent has been laid, and it's a big lesson for everybody having anything to do with financial transaction, that all of us must pass through bank. Well, and because of the nature of the offense and because the court hands are tied, there's nothing she can do at that level than to just, do what the law said. She decided to invoke the provisions of Section 310 and Section 311 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Section 310 and 11 provides that when an offender has been found guilty and convicted, before sentencing, the law permits him to call evidence in respect of his good character to add to his allocutors. Allocutors means plea for leniency. After the allocutors, the court adjourned for us to call witnesses to establish good character of Doyin Okupe. And we call eminent Nigerians in the caliber of Chief, the former governor of Anambra State. What I can't remember the name. Chief SFA. He came to the court, and we also call Dr. Ali Idi Farouk, the former National Orientation Agency Director General in Nigeria for 9 years. They came to the court. They gave glowing, tribute of the good nature of the character of Dr. Doyin Okupe, as somebody who has never been found wanting of embezzlement of money, of a corruption, of putting what is not his own into part of his own. And to crown it all, his wife gave evidence. In fact, to make the matter come to that, the best, for us to be able to get the best bargain from the court, one of his sons gave evidence from the home front and told the court how Dr. Doyin Okupe has been a responsible, the two of them told the court how Dr. Okupe has been a responsible husband and father to his children, and that if he is sent to jail, so many people who depends on him for their daily, day-to-day activity, for their daily bread, and for their progression in life will suffer a lot. In fact, it was that yesterday that we were made to know that is taking care of the beats of so many people that he has adopted as his children or dependents. So in the course of this, the court became persuaded that he deserved mercy, and court now, use human face in the sentencing by sentencing him to 2 years imprisonment in each of the count charge, which is 26, and now said he will only serve for just 2 years concurrently. 2 years will take care of the other 2 years. She also gave an option of 500,000 naira per each of the count, but that if he decided to take the option of 5, it has to be paid. How would they call it now? He has to pay it concurrent. Consecutively. Thank you. Which brings it to a total of 13 million. And the court, in its magnanimity, also said he gave him an option between that 2 o'clock till 4:30 for him to be able to raise the money and pay and walk away. But if he fails to raise the money before 4:30, then he has to be taken to Kuje prison. But as God will have it, friends came to his aid. They sent all the money from various angles, and he was able to wriggle out. So that's to show you that he's a good man. And that is why friends came to his aid at that odd hour when we thought it's not possible. In fact, what amazed me was the way, Dr. Ezefe came to that court within 30 minutes, as if he was aware that he was going to be convicted. So it is good to be good. And I'm persuaded that Dr. Doyin Okupe is just a victim of circumstance. He's a victim of honest mistake. He has been used to test the law. But I can assure you that we'll test that law to the highest level, if God permits. As I talk to you, he has briefed his lawyers to file an appeal. And I can tell you that appeal has been filed against that judgment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One more thing. As the DG of, what are the implications?
Well, I'm not a member of Labour Party. I don't belong to Obi movement. I'm a member of APC. So, in fact, I'm a member of the legal committee of the PCC of APC. I just did professional job as a lawyer for Dr. Okupe. But if you ask me, the conviction of Okupe, apart from the social media stunt and dragging, I do not see anything in it. It's just like when somebody is convicted for a traffic offense. That is the way I look at it. Assuming that he was convicted now for money laundering, of corruption, embezzlement, and all those things that has to do with immorality. You understand? I would have said he should have resigned since yesterday. But as it is, he was convicted for taking money above 5 million, which I believe if you line up 100 big men in Nigeria, 99 of them have done it.
So you mean that
there's no cause for resignation. If you want my own opinion, because the offense he was committed for is not an offense that somebody will hear and say, why is it Dr. Okupe? It's just like when somebody is convicted, you break traffic light and you are convicted. It's as bad as that. That's the way I look at it. So, but politics, opposition people would like to lash on it, to create scene. To just say a lot of things. That he has been tainted, the campaign is tainted. I do not see the campaign tainted. With due respect, I don't see anything affecting the campaign of Dr. Doyin Okupe as DG of Obi. So I'm not a Labour Party person. They can take their decision, but this is my honest opinion. I'm a member of APC for all intents and purposes.